Hey, badass business owners. Today I want to talk about for you to stop chasing sales, and I want you to work on improving your profits. I want to take a look at Bob's handyman service. No matter what kind of business you have, you can learn a lesson from this. So let's take a look at this. Bob has annual sales of $125,000 a year. Bob's profit is $50,000. Bob works 6 days a week, 51 weeks a year. Yes, Bob is a slacker. He takes 1 week off for his family, but he's working constantly, and he's created $125,000 in sales. Not bad for his handyman business, but Bob wants to make more money. Bob's tired of only making $50,000. Bob wants to make $75,000 a year, which means Bob's goal is to increase his profits by 50%, which means he wants to do $25,000 more divided by the profit he currently has, comes up with that 50%, in case you were wondering how we came up with that number. So Bob wants to go from $50,000 to $75,000. Now, the way Bob's going to do it is he's going to chase more sales. That's his plan. He's just going to go out and work a lot more hours, do what he can to drive those sales. But here's the problem. You can't just work harder. That's not going to work. Let's take a look at this. If Bob does $125,000 in sales today to get his $50,000, he would have to do $187,000, changing nothing else in his business. He would have to make that jump just to get to the number that he wants. He already works 6 days a week, 51 weeks out of the year. Can Bob really realistically think he's going to work 50% more hours on top of that? Of course he can. That's just not going to work for Bob. So the problem that Bob's facing is the fact that there are only so many hours in the day. So it doesn't matter what Bob does. He can work and work and work, but he's still going to run out of time. Time is not going to just change because Bob wants to earn more money. Bob has to change the way that he's chasing the sales that he's doing. He needs to focus on profits and not just on sales. We focus on sales when we're trying to get our business up and running, but once you get your business established, the next thing that needs to change is the way that you're chasing and what you're chasing. You need to move over to profits because sales do not always cure all. Just because you create more sales, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to make more money. And this is a mistake I see people do all of the time. So let's go back to Bob's example here. Remember, Bob was doing $125,000 and Bob's profit was $50,000. Now, if you take a look and you go 50,000 divided by the sales he does, it tells us that Bob has a current 40% net profit. That's not bad. That's actually a really good number for most folks. 40% net profit's pretty darn good. Well, what if Bob focused on going from 40% and just getting that number up to 45%? What kind of difference is that going to have on his business? And what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, Bob doesn't change anything. He just keeps doing what he's doing, but he focuses instead on profit. And he still does the same amount of sales. He hasn't chased a single extra penny in his business, but he has worked and focused on the profitability of his business. And now at that 45%, he's already up to $56,000. So by Bob focusing on increasing the profit within his business, he automatically has seen an increase of over $5,000 in profit that he has managed to put into his pocket. Now, Bob still wants to make that $75,000, but now he's doing it from a 45% versus a 40%. And you'll notice here that in order for him to get his $75,000 using that 45%, now Bob only has to do $166,000 in sales. You might recall earlier, Bob was going to have to do $187,000 in sales at the 40%. So right away, we already need less sales in order for Bob to hit his profit goal just by Bob working on that profitability. Now there's $20,000 less in sales he has to go after. You know, Bob's first priority really needs to be profitability and then focus on sales. Because you notice the first thing Bob did was work on the profitability. Then he went after the sales because now he realized I don't have to chase every other sale. Now there's a lot of things that go into increasing those sales and how Bob approaches it, but at least Bob was able to, by cleaning up his profitability, he was able to make more money off of every dollar. Let's take a look at two different businesses. These are two different handyman businesses that are out there today. One does sales of $250,000 and one does sales of $200,000. Well, let me ask you, which business would you prefer to have? If presented, most people would jump on the 250. That's before they even asked another question. They would go, well, of course, I want to do $250,000 in sales. Well, here's the problem. At the end of the day, if they both make the same $90,000, now ask yourself, which business do you prefer to have? Because one might be a lot more, have better systems in place, better pricing in place and everything else, and can make that same amount of money. Because business A is only making a profitability of 36%, where business B has a 45% profitability. And I'm telling you, you want the business that has the higher profitability in your corner, because it isn't about how much you sell. At the end of the day, it is about what you keep. And that's what you need to be focused on, is the profitability side of this whole thing. You need to focus on profits and not just your sales. You need both, and you need to focus on both, but your first priority has to be on the profits of your business. And you do this by knowing your business numbers. This is why it's so important that you know them. So this way you focus your energy on what's going to make the biggest difference in your business and ultimately the most money. Now, there's two videos out here that you kind of want to look at, which are you pricing your services correctly? Or are you pricing your products correctly? There'll be a link in the show notes for both of these. But a lot of times when we look at profitability, we have to look at how we're pricing first and foremost, because a lot of times we're leaving a lot of money on the table and we're not accounting for everything in our business, which is what's costing us profits. So if you're interested, we have both these videos out there. You can find them, but they're also in the show notes for you as well. And if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't ever miss another video, and hit the like button so other people know they should really watch this video. And if you want to learn more about your business numbers, there is a course also in the link below that are going to help you understand your business numbers much better, or you can go to knowyourbusinessnumberscourse.com. Now get out there and be the badass that I know you are.